So the whole thing was a very good scam.
It's a very elaborate.
Yeah.
I'm
almost proud.
I'm not even sure scam gives it justice.
No, I don't think it was a scam. It was an
operation.
It was very good.
And I say that because
we talked to multiple people.
Yeah.
It was very good. Really, get it going.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, welcome to another episode of the Whiskey and Whitetails podcast. This is episode 61 coming at you on
62. It's episode 62 on February 28th, and this is not a leap year. This is not a leap year.
We're going to do that over again?
No.
Okay.
Just run with it. It's like the third time we've done it, so that's what you get. Yeah, we're
morning.
Still a little out of it.
Afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening and what time it is.
Yeah.
I hope it's good for you.
It's definitely not morning for us.
No, I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's on the agenda today there, Madamus?
We were just gonna recap. Yeah, we're gonna recap. So we had a lot. Also, if you notice above here, up in here, there, those are our executive producers of the Whiskey and Whitetails show, which means they are supporting us on Patreon, and that's a very important thing. Because in order for us to do what we're doing, we need a little bit more support, a little bit of support, and that is very important for us.
And the support is not a personal thing.
No.
The support allows us to better...
Every dollar goes back into the company and does not come into our pockets in any way.
Particularly
from Patreon.
Particularly the Patreon stuff.
Yeah.
That just allows us to turn around and continue doing some of the fun, cool, tier-related benefit stuff that we have worked out.
One thing we did at Whiskey and Whitetails Experience, we took two of our patrons, flew them here, not first class. And then they stayed not in a hotel. They stayed in a trailer, but still, they had a great time. And we had lots to drink. We did a whiskey class. We ate some awesome food. Thank you to Mr. Livingston for cooking that. Mm-hmm. And then tonight, actually, guys,
we have a giveaway.
We're giving away a bottle of Elmer T. Lee to our patrons. All you had to do is be a patron.
That's it.
$5.
$5 a month.
Or more. You
just
can spend more.
Just skip one of those mocha choca lattes from your favorite place, and
especially if you do razzles. If you're doing razzles, they're usually $25 to $50 a spot. So if you do one a month, it still costs more than the opportunity. And there's usually 100 spots. Ours is like, not that.
It's not. Anyways.
We went really far on that. Yeah. But anyway, welcome to the show. And we have a lot of new listeners, so thank you for coming along.
Yeah, especially if you are new, having hopped on after meeting us or checking us out at Seawee. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for your support. We hope you had a good time at Seawee. We definitely had a good time and are looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, we had a great time. We're actually already making plans for next year, things we want to do a little differently. But it was unbelievable. The support also to everyone that came and worked the booth for us while we jacked our jaws off. Thank you so much for that as well.
Yeah.
Super supportive. I mean, at one time we had almost 7 people running the booth. Yeah,
it was it was kind of weird whenever you and I have put a lot of time and effort obviously into this company and kind of getting it off the ground, and it's been kind of a whirlwind of a year and a half. We've had a lot of really good support from good friends and family, and it was really cool. You and I had a separate spot where we were doing podcasts on behalf of Seawee for sort of a special series of interviews. And then our vendor booth was inside, and it was cool to go inside and see our friends and family there working the booth and doing such a great job. There was a couple times where I walked in from a distance, from another angle, just to look, see how things were going. But I didn't bother going in there because they were in such a rhythm with what they were doing. We got shooed out of there like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. I walked in there and I was like, everybody good? Anybody need anything? And nobody answered me. So I leaned in and I was like, you good? And Josh turned and looked at me. He's like, I'm selling something here. And I was like, okay, all right. So I stepped back and I put my hand on Patrick's back and I was like, everything good? And he saw it was me and just completely ignored me. Went back to talking to the guy he was talking to. We got him hooked up. I think he got a bunch of donations for his charity dinner as well.
Yeah, and I have another organization that hit me up. It's a veteran organization here in Charleston that wants to work with him or see if there's something they can do together. They are they're a home that houses homeless veterans, and then they through
like a halfway house for veterans.
Kind of, but it's for veterans who are homeless and they need a place to stay while they get their shit together. And like I think she said 80-something% since they started the program, they've been able to successfully get into permanent full-time housing through their program, which is kind of cool. And I figured, even if they're not able to do anything major together, just another veteran organization connection would be helpful. So lots of great connections, lots of cool people. We met so many fun and just interesting personalities throughout the weekend.
The code word for this episode also is camel. So use camel.
Oh,
in a fun story and a good and a thing, and you'll be entered to win into one of our random giveaways. And as people that listen, our code words, they come. There's a reason that we use those words, and they will come out later in the episode. So, camel. We had some good ones last week for Appleseed.
Camel or camo?
Camel.
Camel, as in like the old like cigarettes.
As in the animal, yeah.
The
or
animal.
The cigarettes, or the
toe,
or that.
So I could not let that joke.
Yeah, I know you had to do it.
I had to. It was my childish adolescence in me. Anyways,
we also have 3 koozies left that will randomly be dropped into boxes this week. So if you make an order this week and use code podcast,
you could be a lucky beneficiary.
Yeah, these cost us $7 a piece.
It's pretty wild. I don't think we've done a lot of promotional stuff between companies and things we've done in the past.
Well, it's because it's neoprene.
Yeah, which is money.
And then they stitched on burlap on the outside. So like that's the reason they're not cheap. Like this isn't really one that you would just throw away or leave in your, just leave it somewhere. Like this is one that you remember to bring with you.
Cool.
So,
So, recap.
Yeah.
Last week, last Monday.
Oh, before that, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon Scott.
Scott hooked us up.
Yeah, so he lives in Utah. So he sent us each a sample bottle of the Oloroso, the Cognac, and the Aquavit High West Double Rice. Oh, the Aquavit is American Prairie. So I'm in a rye mood, so I'm going to go with the Cognac. You can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you like. Yep. So I'm going to give this a pop. Yep. And then I'm going to go ahead and just drink the whole thing. It's about 2 ounces, something like that. Yours seems a little more than mine.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake.
Which one did you do?
The High West. Oh, I'm sorry, the American Prairie. Yeah, the High West. Yeah, the American Prairie and the Aquavit finish.
Nice. I'm a big fan of High West. I was counting yesterday, and I have more High West bottles than I do any other, brand, except Buffalo Trace. But I mainly have those just to piss people. I'm hoarding. Like, imagine the end of the world, and we're running out of canned goods, and everyone's like, I'm starving to death, please, sir. That's what I'm doing with Buffalo Trace. I'm just buying it so they can't. No, I'm not drinking it. It just sits there.
It's interesting. Sometimes I think that there, all that the ammo shortages we keep coming upon. I think it's anti-gun people buying all the ammo and
Could
just
be
sitting
out of spite.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely doing this out of spite. I want you to not be able to have it so you can try other stuff. They're gonna button it. Wow. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's a sarcastic wow. Like wow.
Yeah, I'm joking. Or am I?
I don't believe you. I think you are doing it for that reason.
It's possible. It's possible. We were both Gus and I are trying to lose a little bit of poundage before the summer get our beach bods back.
Yeah, you know how it is.
And we both told each other this morning that we got up and we're like, feeling a little skinnier today. It's a man thought right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a man tells another man,
yeah,
I feel like I'm losing a little bit of weight.
Yeah. I don't know. It looked like it in the mirror.
It's actually coming off so quickly that I'm every time I step on the scale, I'm like,
maybe it's cancer.
Yeah, I could have something wrong. We'll find out. I keep checking my skin. I'm not yellowing. My eyes are white.
Yeah, everything looks good.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
We'll find out. I'm not really working out as hard as you would think to lose weight like that. I've always had a hard time losing weight.
Sometimes it's just, as we get older, metabolism calories in, calories out. You know, there's a lot of things.
I'm definitely
a lot of variables.
way less.
A lot of variables.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing too. The early times bottom bomb video. Thank you guys for commenting so much on that. I mean, it's like every day. I'm answering
questions.
Yeah, questions or just comments, and we get told a lot. You should try this blind because things are different when you do them blind.
No kidding.
Like, yeah, you think so, huh?
Huh.
Have you ever seen a video? That's literally the only video we've ever done that wasn't blind. Maybe.
Close. I don't know. But we do blinds pretty frequently. At least frequently enough that, you know.
I do at home all the time. I mean, you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're aware.
Anyways.
Appreciate it. Seaweed. So day one would be Thursday.
Day one was Thursday.
We took a vacation.
We did. We took PTO and spent all day getting set up. And
did you tell anyone at work? I didn't tell anyone.
Not a soul.
I didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell a soul. Didn't. I honestly, there's very few people at work that even know I have this business.
Yeah.
You and I are doing this. I don't.
That's a little bit different for me. There's because I work with a lot of bourbon people.
Yeah.
So it got found out.
It's also a little different because of the nature of your work. You have to go in to the office.
Yeah,
I don't have to go to the office. And the way it's gone the last year, it doesn't seem like my office is in a huge rush to get everybody back in there. So there's not like I'm not interfacing with people and talking to people about it on a regular basis. And maybe that's a good thing, or it could be a bad thing for my career, not being around other, you know, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Doing my job. But yeah, I didn't tell anybody. I just took PTO and.
Yeah, we both saw people we work with there.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey.
Yeah. Luckily, the people that we saw there were aware of it. So it wasn't like,
yeah.
What? This is you? Yeah, no, it wasn't anything crazy.
No. So day one we get there and it is a mud hole.
Yeah.
And so I'm pulling the trailer and it's full of whiskey barrels and like all of our stuff and it's pretty heavy, you know. So I had to put it in 4 low to just kind of creep through there. So we unloaded everything, rolled whiskey barrels all over Birtlebank Park, and kind of set up pretty quick. And then I went home and changed. You went and got your beard did.
Yeah.
And then we came back. And we kind of started walking around, meeting people, trying to schedule podcasts, right?
That's right.
And then after that, we went home. Not a lot to report Thursday. And then Friday, which we thought was pretty busy, and everybody was like, this is really slow. We did 3 or 4 podcasts on Friday.
I think it was 3. We tried to get a 4th, didn't work out. But it was good. It was slow. They were sort of spread out.
Yeah.
And it gave us a good opportunity to get a feel for the setup, what it was going to be like recording with the crowd and the noise. We had a couple of things to tweak and work out, and
you'll see in the video that the video part of it, we've never done that before, so there's going to be issues. But some of the camera stuff, it comes in and out of focus. But
yeah,
I mean, you're not watching it for video quality. You're watching it if you're even watching it. I mean, audio is going to be the big key here on those.
Yeah, and there were some challenges with background noise, and I think in one of the I think that happened on Saturday. We had an interview we were doing, and it happened to happen at the exact same time that the
SAR, the Coast Guard, the Search and Rescue,
Coast Guard Search and Rescue did their demonstration. Literally, how far would you say that water line it was? Not even 100 yards.
Oh yeah, shootable.
Yeah. So I mean, where the water started, and then to where they were actually doing the exercise, helicopter. I mean, when the helicopter took off and banked over us, you could count rivets.
It was choppy.
It was slow. It was very, very low, and it was very loud. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's a live event. You know, those things happen. You hear dogs bark. You hear kids. Being that it's an outdoor show, I noticed some of the call makers, they make these cheap little, like, miniature duck calls for kids, and it's just a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah, I could hear
people walking around, and there were even
train whistles.
I even saw dads and parents once they realized there was recording going on, like trying to get their kids to stop, and they were just like,
yeah. It's one thing about the recording, because I've started editing the Ryan Kirby one. Oh, by the way, that's another thing too. Above our head here, the framing of the shot may change. Ryan Kirby, the artist, if you're not familiar with who he is,
the man, the myth, and the legend.
Yeah, he donated. Donate is not the right term because we're not a charity. He gave us as gifts 2 of his paintings, or three
prints.
Three prints that he's done.
Yeah, to hang in our studio,
which is amazing.
Yep,
Super very cool. So it's probably going to go up there, 2 of them. If we can fit all 3 up there, we'll put all 3 up there.
We'll figure it out. Oh, that's a good thing to do with your. I was trying to figure out what to do with my exhibitor badge.
Yeah,
that's clever.
You can see it in there. Boom.
This is going to start to become just a collage of things we collect.
Yeah,
and are given. That's going to be fun.
That's the point. Oh, we didn't put our whitetail bag.
Yeah, so we took the whitetail and the antlers with us as decoration for our set.
Yeah.
Loosely, it was a white tent. It was a 3-sided tent with a grass floor and a collapsible table.
That was in the flattest part of America. Was somehow not flat.
Yeah, the first you guys will notice in the first, I think, 2 or 3 episodes, most of them from Thursday. If pay careful attention, I think Matt and I over the course of each interview sink by about 2 inches because we're sitting in folding metal chairs on soft, muddy ground, and it just so happened that the way there were sort of dips in the ground, we were below the same height as the people we were interviewing. So we looked like children, like looking up at the people we're interviewing.
Yeah.
It felt really weird.
It did feel weird. And they were normal sized people, yet they were like a good 6 inches.
It felt like it. I was looking up to these people asking questions. But, those are the kind of things that make it interesting and make it fun. And it's what you get with a sort of a live environment. We'll do it different next year now that we see the different, what it's going to be. And we can, we got an idea. We were able to look at the different resources that the rental company provided. Yeah. So like that nice hard floor that they put out for some people, that would be cool to have in that space. Or even a small, like they make stage risers that are 6 inches off the ground, like you see at a band concert outside for graduation. It looks like the band is sitting on the ground, but they're really about 6 inches high. Yeah. Just something like that so that we can get off the ground, have a nice even level. Yeah. But we can, now that we know what to expect and now that we know we've built that relationship with the people at SeaWee, which that's another conversation I had. Those are some phenomenal people to work with.
We met some of the coolest people. The whole weekend was just mind blowing. I mean, from the podcast to walking in and watching people work the booth and I mean, just our name is yellable. I learned, like people just walk by and scream it. Whitetails, like all weekend. Like when I wish we could have put a microphone facing the crowd to. Maybe we should try that next year, just to pick up background noise and hear conversations. Just to have a separate record. We could use the other recorder.
Dude, if I had $5 for every time somebody walked by the podcast area or even the other booth, and we're like, whiskey and whitetails.
Yeah.
Whiskey and whitetails.
All the time.
Oh, look, honey, whiskey and whitetails. I think we'd have probably made $500,000 just from $5.
We've been working the booth. Tyler, I got something going on in my nose. Tyler was telling me that that was going to be really loud. Sorry about that.
You okay?
Nothing I can do about it. Tyler was telling me they work in the booth. People would come by and just yell it. Whiskey and Whitetails. And then they'd be like, look, oh, that's the podcast people or whatever. Like, oh, I didn't know they had a store too. Or, but he said they got to ask constantly. We couldn't sell merch, but they were asking constantly. We don't sell merch anyway. But lots of questions for hats and shirts. Just people wanting to support.
Yeah. It's a cool, it is a cool, it's a cool name. I mean, what can I say, folks?
Yeah. We're humble people.
It definitely looks good on a hat and a shirt, and it has potential for like graphic design shirts, like Whiskey and Whitetails with some kind of cool picture or whatever. But we went down that road once before, and
we're scared
until we reach a point where the requests and the demand is just something that we can no longer sort of push to the side. I don't know that we're going to do apparel. It's just
we might do a hat again. The hats are gone.
If we did anything, I would prefer to just stick to hats, mainly because they're easier to box and carry and ship around. But
also, everybody has merch. It's like, excuse me, it's just not something. We have koozies, and if you make an order on whiskeyingwhitetails.com, use code podcast, 3 of you this week will randomly get this put in there. That's enough about merch. Yeah.
Anyways, so that was kind of the gist of Thursday. We thought, or Friday rather, right? That was our first day, and we thought it was pretty busy. Like we were pumped how the day went, but then Saturday
was we had podcast early in the morning. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we had a opening.
It was 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. And the park opened at 10.
Yep.
So at 10 a.m. we were podcasting.
Yep.
And then I think we had another 10:30 and then 11. And before you knew it, it was 11:30 and I'm like, I'm going to go check. From where we were to where they were was 40 feet.
Oh, from where we were to the tent?
To the door, yeah.
To the door of the tent? Yeah, 50, 60 feet. It doesn't matter. Like, you could throw a rock and hit it.
Yeah, my point being, it was impossible to get there.
Oh, yeah.
It was like this. It was like open the door. Yeah. There's all the people.
If you've ever been to
a ton of people.
If you've ever been to a concert or a sporting event in
in
a stadium and you go out into the concourse area and you're trying to like get somewhere, but it's so busy you're kind of having to shuffle.
People are in line for beer. Yeah. People are in line for this, for food, for Traeger, for whatever.
And you're walking through lines because the lines are wrapping around things. That's what it was like for half the day.
It was nuts. And that was when I walked in there and everybody was like, leave me alone. You're like, we're fine. Go away. Because they had a rhythm down, I guess. Yeah, like Andy was checking out, and so I doing cards, and then she went to the she was like, I gotta go pee, and I said, okay, I'll run the card thing for you.
Allow it.
Yeah, I'll, it's coming out of your check.
Well,
so she went to the bathroom or whatever, which takes forever to get there and back because of what I just said. So I'm sitting there, waiting with her card, and Josh turns around and goes, Andy, and I was like, she went to the bathroom, and he goes, bro, don't mess this up, and he gives me the card. I'm like, this is my company. Like, I've run this a million times.
Right.
So I'm like putting it in and I'm trying to find this. And he turns around and pulls the card out. And I was like, I wasn't done. And he was like, what are you doing? You're screwing me up here. I was like, sorry, man. Sorry. So I like rang it up and he was done. He was like, you're the worst. And just went back to working. And I'm like, but they were that busy.
Yeah, they were. And Andy, so each of them sort of picked a niche, right? Like Josh was pounding on the smoker kits, and then Patrick was floating around selling clocks and calls and barrels.
He was
and
savage about it.
He tried to sell my house. He was selling anything he could.
He was like, this backdrop,
it's for sale. Like, I'll sell it.
People are like, I like that backdrop. And he was like, how much you want to pay for it? I'm like, I guess.
We were talking before the day started, and he was, we were sort of talking about prices and how we normally do things, and I could tell he wasn't really listening.
No, he didn't care.
And then he was like, look, man, everything's for sale.
Yeah.
And like if someone wants to buy this, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, okay, he's
turned
it on. And what you got to realize about Patrick is he spent many years in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
And when he works a booth, the company they had sold a lot of merchandise, a lot of hats and shirts and things like that. And they wouldn't travel with that. They would get a lot of it shipped to the location, pick it up, but it would be more than they could travel back with. So they would have to sell it. So he just had this mentality of just selling any and everything. And if you like this shirt, but you're stuck on a $20 price tag, all right, fine. I'll do 2 shirts for $25. How's that sound? Just to get stuff moving. And sure as shit, midway through the day, he had sold 4 whiskey barrels that we brought for decoration.
Yeah. Yep. That's a fact. That's not not exaggerating.
Like they were decoration.
All of you that picked up whiskey, we sold I think 6 whiskey barrels through the weekend. All of you that we will sell them, but those were not there to be sold.
Yeah, we weren't not this weekend.
And then Patrick was like, if you want a deal on a Whiskey and Whitetails product, come to a show that Patrick's working because he was selling whiskey barrels. Like we told him what we have in them.
Yeah,
and he's like $5 over, just pushing stuff out. But like whiskey barrels were $100. I mean, we never saw them that cheap. And smoker kits, and people are like, well, I want this and that. And he's like 2 for $100. He's like, he was selling blocks. He was like, Matt, I'm gonna have to raise the price on the blocks. They're selling too fast. He was like, they're $35 or they're $30. And I was like, Patrick, they're $35 all the time. What have you been selling them for?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, $25.
No.
I'm like, okay. He's just because
Yeah.
But it's fine. We don't care. It's
the thing is these weekends.
It's a show.
These weekends come, a handful of times a year, and you got to take advantage. And so the prices are going to be lower at the show. So
the prices are lower. At the show.
If you checked us out at the show and you're listening and you recognized online that the prices were not the same, that's the point.
Yeah. Like the only thing that's cheaper now is the glasses.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, the glasses cost more at the show. Why? I'm not going to get into, but they do. They're cheaper on
because business.
Because business.
That's why.
Because don't worry about it.
So, anyways, to give some perspective on how well the weekend went, or how well things went, just in general. But like, you sent me a figure, and I won't say the number. Yes, please continue to scratch your asshole on the.
It's my cheek.
Well, if someone's not listening, they don't know. If someone's
I gotta
not
beep
watching the
all
video,
these assholes. You keep saying.
oh, okay, sorry.
No, I don't care.
We did a figure in sales between the beginning of January and March, right? You sent me the number and you said this is what
last year.
Yeah, last year. This is what we did between January and March.
January 1st and March 1st. Yeah,
and we did that in like 45 minutes on Saturday.
I bet it was faster than that.
It probably was, but I mean, to give some perspective, like
I didn't know where you were going here. Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, like this show.
Yeah, if you were to take what we did last year from January 1st to March 1st and what we've done this year from January 1st to March 1st, there would be an exponent. It wouldn't be like 10 times, 100 times. It would be an exponent.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and that is going to change the trajectory of what we do this year. There's a lot of stuff now that we can do that we like for you, like content-wise,
especially knowing that we have
be able to do.
Yeah, especially knowing that we have other shows like this coming up through the year, throughout the year, which will hopefully be, even if they're half as successful,
would be. I'd
it'd be a solid weekend.
Yeah,
yeah. So this allows us to just like you said, keep doing our thing and focus more on the stuff we want to be doing.
Do we have a plug?
Do we have a plug of the week? Yes.
Okay, let's do that. We're about a quarter way
shooting from the hip.
Do it. Shoot it. Aw.
Wrong button, Gus.
Jeez, man.
It's been a long day.
Has it?
It has, actually.
Okay.
It's time for the plug of the week.
All right, folks. The plug of the week. I don't know.
Jones Ford. How about that?
Oh, it could be Jones Ford because they hooked me up with a rental vehicle at a great price while my truck was in the shop.
I'll be honest with you. Every time I take my truck there, I am treated very well. They treat me so good. I mean, I grew up in dealerships. My dad worked in dealerships my whole life. I worked at one as well. That place is different.
Different, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're just so nice, like genuinely nice. I mean, the guy walks in, he remembers my name, he says stuff, and it's always just.
You sure it's not because they really want to buy your truck back?
They do want to buy my truck back. I told you how much. Oh, I know. Like almost 20 grand more than I paid for it.
I know, it's wild. I saw someone driving one around yesterday. It's another same truck, but it's the darker gray.
Yeah.
Such a nice truck. Anyways, yeah, Jones Ford. We're super nice. Hooked me up with a rental vehicle, which if you don't know, rental vehicles are still somewhat difficult to find, especially if you need a specific thing like a truck. And I needed a truck for the weekend. My truck, the one that I own, decided to spring a leak, a coolant leak the day before, a Wednesday.
Did you find out where it was coming from?
I don't know precisely where it's coming from, but it is coming from the same air behind the belts and where everything. I think it's the water pump or something back there.
Because you have to do, if it's not if it's part of the timing belt, you have to do a timing belt too, but that won't be cheap.
Can't wait.
So you're definitely gonna have to do a belt, a tensioner, and a water pump.
I hope it's so expensive that I can just call my insurance and they'd be like, "Yeah, we'll just total it."
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yeah, maybe. But then you got to buy another one.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I just don't. Anyways, so yeah, Jones Ford, nice folks, really close to our studio, stone's throw from.
It's not like you can't Google our address. It's
Oh,
by the way, did you get Google Analytics?
Did I get or do
you get them, the emails?
Sometimes, yeah. I get them a lot of attention
like
to them.
Twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past 3 months, there's been like 140 people have gotten directions to here.
That's a letdown.
Yeah, it sucks for y'all.
Sorry, folks.
We're not here. So don't.
I wonder if people are coming into the building to look for this place. If we should put a sign on the door or something.
I mean, I think they'll figure it out that the lights are off and we're not here.
And it's clearly not a storefront.
Yeah, this is not a store. This is just a studio.
Yeah, it is a business office. It's not a storefront. It's not it's a business office. It's where we record. It's where we do business. It's a place for us to get official mail.
Bills, official mail, so we don't have to give out our personal mailing addresses.
That's what this place is. So.
And if you Google the stuff or do who is, it doesn't pop up with our information. The other thing too is we did a lot through your old house and then you moved. So it's like we're probably actually unfindable through the business if somebody were to try and be weird.
That's by design.
Yeah. You forget that we're both cybersecurity engineers.
Maybe.
Also, you can go to whiskeyingtales.com, use code podcast. And this week, 3 random orders will get these last 3 koozies. These are $7 a piece cost.
We figure if we tell you 5 times throughout the podcast, it'll hit home.
And then Saturday was bananas. And so we were live on the news Friday morning at 10 a.m.
Yep.
And we can look at the analytics on our website, and it was pretty crazy to watch that spike. I didn't know people still watch the news, but they do.
Oh, they do. I was standing.
Hold on. I did know people still watch the news because I talked to a lot of people that clearly get their information from the news. So I take that back. But local news. Turns out people watch local news.
Yep. I had someone that I would not have expected to come up and be like, I saw you on the news. And I was like, oh.
Someone you know?
Yeah.
So my cousin.
I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah. My cousin, you can guess which one, Snapchatted me and was like, hey, saw you on the liberal NBC news station. He's like, didn't know you believe. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know which news channel is liberal or Republican.
Yeah. First of all, Republican, liberal, I don't care.
I don't care.
Their money's all the same color.
Yeah,
and I have
true.
a business to run.
Yeah.
So if one of them wants us or one of us to go on the news and
we're going to go
promote our business,
yeah,
I'm going to go.
Did you know NBC was, I mean, I don't know.
I might turn down CNN just on principle.
I think they I mean, I don't know. You probably watch the news more than I do. I have no idea.
I don't.
I mean, I would probably turn down CNN because I think Joe Rogan doesn't like CNN, and I believe everything Joe Rogan says. I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
Yeah, we're joking around. All the new people are like, oh, well, unsubscribe to that one.
But yeah, so it was when were we on the news in the morning? That was Friday morning?
That was Friday morning. And then after that, should I tell the bank story?
I guess. I don't remember the bank
My
story.
bank story.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's a wild story.
I'm still recovering.
I mean, tell it. It's your business, not mine. I don't care.
Oh, I'll tell it because it's fun. So Friday morning, we're on the news. And as we're on the news, we've never been on the news before together. I mean, we were on the news separately.
I tried to find a picture and I was going to post it and not tell you. But not unlike yourself, I can't hold on to a surprise very well.
I forgot to bring your surprise.
Do you remember the newspaper clip we were in when we were kids at Whiteman Air Force Base at the parade?
Yeah.
I was going to post a picture of that and be like, we're not, so something about not being our first time, not being strangers to press coverage or whatever.
Because everybody said we did so good. And we're like, this is why you should be like, this is why we did so good. Because we've
been doing this
since we were in diapers.
Yeah.
We were on news together when we were in diapers.
But there's an old newspaper clip when the
soldiers came home.
Yeah, when everyone who
airmen.
deployed from Whiteman Air Force Base came home, they had a big parade. This was during Desert Storm, I think, or Desert Shield, one of those, whichever. Yeah. And
whichever one was the last one.
Picture of us sitting down. Anyways.
And we're sitting together, waving flags, welcoming home the airmen.
Airmen.
Yep.
Good job, guys. Welcome home.
Yeah, proud of you. You did.
Sorry, your story.
Did a lot.
Please finish.
Yeah. We're on the news.
We're on the news.
My phone's ringing. Ringing. It's a song. And it's a song that we both like. Is that Kevin Gates?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Kevin Gates song. Anyway, we were both on the news, and then my phone's ringing, and it says USAA, the bank, USAA. That's what it says, right? And not only that, but as I'm talking to them, I was like, there was a couple times I was like, this is weird, and I actually looked at the number, and it's 1-800-531-USAA. That was the number that called me, and I got a text message from USAA in the same text thread that they always text me, verify that this is you logging in, same thread. So I got a call.
Man, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I got a call, And they said that somebody in Atlanta was trying to steal $500 from, they had an ATM, $500, and that's another thing that was weird too, is because I don't know that you could pull, all this is like thinking back on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've pulled $500 or more out of an ATM before. I'm positive. And I've never gotten a call. Like Vegas, I've done it in Vegas for sure.
Sure.
So thinking back on it, that was weird. But anyway, that was the call. And so they said they were going to cancel my cards and send me new cards, and they were going to expedite it. Should be there tomorrow. And this was 10:45-ish in the morning. And the main reason I'm telling this story is so I can clip it and send it to the cops, because I did a police report yesterday, and they have a detective, and he wants to come to the house and talk. So I'm just going to email him this. Like, here you go. Here's the full story. So that happened. And then they were like, we got to put you on hold. And there was no hold music. And you held the phone for a while.
Yeah.
And you saw it, USAA.
Yep.
And then we started a podcast. I didn't have time. I took it to my wife, and I said, I don't have time to deal with this. They're going to come on and say, confirmed, you're sending you new cards. You deal with it. So it was long enough that like we got set up, and then I went back in there, and she was still on the hold. So I grabbed the phone. I'm walking out, and as I'm walking out, no, you had it, and they were like, they said they'll give you. What they say?
We were setting up, and you had to run to the truck and grab something and run back. It was gonna take 2 minutes, and the guy came back on the phone. And I said, "Hey, gentleman you were speaking with stepped away for just a quick second. Can you hold for a couple of minutes until he gets back?" And the guy was like, "No problem. I'll hold for 5 minutes." And he did. He went on hold. But when he went on hold, I put it on mute. Unless he didn't put us on hold, unless he stayed on the line, I muted the line. There was no hold music or anything.
It's also weird that he said he'll wait for 5 minutes. Like, would a bank tell you that?
I don't know.
Thinking back on it, there was weird, but none of them were like red flags. None of them were like, there was no weird accents that made me suspicious. There was like the protocol was correct. The phone number was correct. The text message was correct. The only other thing, which I had noticed, it said USA will never call you and ask you for this number, right? However, the 2 days Sunday, when I got a call from USAA, from real USAA, and we were going through the claim, they asked me for that number. And I told her, I was like, see, now I'm sketched because I'm going to call you back. I'm going to hang up and I'm going to call you back.
Do you have a direct number?
What's your extension? So I hung up and I called and I dialed the extension and I got to her and I was like, okay, because this text message says USA will never call you and ask you for this number.
Right.
And she was like, well, technically you called us because you started the whatever.
Right.
She's like, so I still need the number. So, yeah, weird, but I guess that's the thing.
But you had that same conversation with the person Saturday.
Yeah. And they were like, and
Friday,
they said the same answer. They said that it's a protocol. They have to prove that it's me by texting my phone.
Well, they should update their protocol because it's not very clear.
Or update the text message. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the same, I don't know. So it's all very weird. But either way, so we're busy. It's seaweed. It's Friday, we're slammed. Saturday, we're slammed. So Saturday, I knew the cars wouldn't be there by the time we left Saturday morning, so I didn't even think anything of it. All day, you bought me beers. You paid for dinner. Like, that's, well, the company paid for dinner. You paid for the alcohol at the dinner. Like, you paid for everything. It was because I figured my cards were locked down.
Yeah.
So Saturday evening, I just hop in and check my bank account, and they had transferred everything but like $100 in my savings account to my checking account, and then withdrew all of it.
Not just withdrew, but they wired.
Yeah, they wire transferred it.
So, there's laws in the financial world where like you don't necessarily get to see when something's wired. It's just an account number to an account number, and that information's private. You don't get to necessarily see.
It just says wire transfer, and there's a number, like a transaction number. That's all that's on there.
Well, maybe law enforcement can dig into it a little bit and hopefully figure out what's going on.
Well, it's gone. And that happened last Saturday, and today is now Thursday.
Yeah.
And I still have no money. I have nothing in my account.
And so USAA is just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so I called Sunday, and they were like, we did not call you on Friday. There's no record of us calling you on Friday. So the whole thing was a very good scam.
It's a very elaborate.
Yeah.
I'm
almost proud.
I'm not even sure scam gives it justice.
No, I don't think it was a scam. It was an
operation.
It was very good.
And I say that because
we talked to multiple people.
Yeah.
It was very good.
And I say operation because we're talking about a couple thousand shy of involving the FBI. as you mentioned, right? Because
it actually hit the number.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah. That's why I had to do a police report yesterday.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. They almost like worded it like because they said it was a domestic transfer. She's like, luckily for you, that means we can try and reverse it and get it back.
Okay.
And I'm like, luckily for me, I have insurance through your bank. So luckily for you, you don't have to come out all that money. Like, not luckily for me, I'm good. I'm just waiting for you to give it back.
Yeah.
I didn't say that though, because I'm trying to be
polite.
Yeah.
But
unfortunate. So that's what happened Friday, and then Saturday we had a lot of great podcasts. We talked to Brown Foreman, we talked to Oris, the watch people, we talked to the National Deer Association, we talked to Ryan Kirby, talked to OpFob, we talked to Fish Hippie, talked to Andrew Beam, we talked to a local wine rep that also does some scotch. We talked about wine and scotch with him.
Gallo.
Yep,
wines?
Gallo Wines.
Yep. Which owns a bunch of brands like that I didn't realize.
I didn't either.
Barefoot, Apothic.
Yeah.
A bunch of wines
I decant Apothic, and he's like, "You're the first person to ever tell me that." I was like, "Well, yeah, it's fine."
Yeah.
Talked to the United States Coast Guard.
Yeah,
Talked to Feeling Bad Now. Shouldn't have started that list. We talked to a lot of people, so I'm sorry if I forgot you, but your episode will come out.
I think you hit most of them from Saturday.
Yeah.
We talked to Covey Rise on Saturday.
Yep. Covey Rise.
Addie from Covey Rise and Bourbon Plus
Addie
magazine.
with 2 Ds.
2 Ds.
Not B's.
That's right.
And Covey Rise. She also has Bourbon Plus and the Brown Foreman and Force Gin, which I kind of liked. I thought that was a good gin.
It was good gin. I actually don't think I'd ever had gin just neat like that before.
I don't think I have either.
And it was interesting. It is it's an experience similar to bourbon. There's a lot of different flavors and tastes and things that it does on your palate. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think she said that it was this gin was the bourbon drinker's gin is what she called it. But the label was really cool and the bottle's cool because you can peel the label off and then it has like measuring lines.
Right. Yep.
For you to repurpose the bottle.
Yeah, she talked about how they designed the bottle and the gin around like the needs and the movements and the uses that bartenders utilize it for. So bartenders will repurpose bottles, on a Saturday night if they're having margarita or something that's a special that night. They'll pre-mix a bunch of the mixer in a bottle, so it allows them to reuse those bottles. And that's just the details that the company takes the time to put into a bottle.
Right.
And the backside of the label.
Yeah, the labels have a map on the backside. Yeah. So when you look through the bottle, it's like a magnifying glass looking at this big map. It's pretty cool. So we did all that. Saturday was amazing. And then we were on the news again Saturday night at 7:30. And then we stuck around. They gave us, they put us on the list for the Low Country Social.
Yeah, that was fun.
We intended on, well, I know you probably didn't because you're older in the head than I am. I intended on like turning it up and really getting the chats going.
Yeah.
But we basically, you got a plate of food. I just was out of it. We had like a beer, maybe 2 beers, and we just went home and crashed.
I thought that was the plan. That's why I was eating and I was like getting myself ready for, have a couple beers. I planned to be responsible and not get too crazy.
Well, I think the point of Seaweed is to not be responsible and to get crazy.
Right. Except those people doing that don't have a business to run.
Yeah, a lot of them there were running a business. They didn't have to talk on a microphone all day.
There you go.
Which we didn't either because that was Sunday. Your excuses are invalid.
Our excuses. I stood there. You were the one that were like, I think we're going to go because we were talking to that other guy.
Yeah, we ended up talking to the producer for NBC, Christian.
Yeah,
and he stuck around. Field producer, yeah, he stuck around and hung out with us for a little while. Yeah, good kid, good fella. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the random fact now.
Are you ready, folks?
I'm ready. Carmen, hey, am I not weird?
Random fact of the week.
Yeah. And the random fact of the week is brought to you by Whiskey and Whitetails.
Yeah, by us.
Which you can go to whiskeyandwhitetails.com, use code podcast, save 20% on our merch, and Over the next week, 3 special boxes will receive. All right, I'm done doing this. Thanks. Appreciate you. All right, so I'm going to put the pictures up here, but I'll show you as I speak here. So, okay, camel humps the hump on a camel. It is solid fat.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And here's where it gets fun. Normally, mammals store fat underneath their skin in an even layer across their bodies, like me. But camels do this because they would just overheat and die in the desert. So they evolved to pile all the fat into one spot so the rest of their bodies can stay cool. So there's no fat anywhere else. So why don't other desert animals do this? Well, they do. But for some reason, we don't ever talk about it. And I cannot wait to show you this picture. These guys are called fat-tailed sheep, and they're native to the Middle East and North Africa. Like camels, they too store fat in one place on their body. Look at these badonkadonks.
Get the fuck out of here. What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that answers a lot of questions about some other things.
It does. Yeah, my brain just went where your brain went. So fat tails are the oldest breed of sheep, and their image can be found in the ruins of oldest civilizations scratched into clay tablets before the first languages were formed. Going on, so mammals store fat in 2 places under the skin and inside a body cavity. While both store energy, these 2 fat types are not the same. Fat inside the body protects and cushions organs like bubble wrap. And then pads of fat within the abdomen form a sort of belt that keeps your organs from ripping when you're lifting heavy objects. That's why there's 2 different types of strongman competitions. The dudes that are muscly ripped, and then the guys that have like the big guts.
Right.
So the last thing I'm going to talk about is sheep today have their tails docked. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They used to keep their fat in their tails. But that's because poop gets caked to their tail wool and attracts flies. But these old school desert sheep were bred for thick wool, and the desert's too hot for that. So there's no limit on how big their tails could be. So there are actual drawings that people would make little carts for these sheep to carry their tails around on.
Because they were filled with so much heavy fat?
Yeah, and that was like a sign of, I got some nice sheep, because their tail was so fat that they had to make wooden carts to put their tails on. And if you're just audio listening, you could just Google this. But if you're listening on YouTube,
it looks like a horned sheep with a big, fluffy, giant foxtail.
Yeah.
Except it's not fluffy; it's just filled with fat, and it's sitting on a cart.
Yeah, it's attached to it like a horse cart almost. So these guys are so important in the ancient world that they were the primary sheep type back then, and even today, a quarter of the world's sheep are these guys, which are the fat bottom
guys. Big old
and so everybody was like fat bottom girls, but those are actually males because the females are bred so much they can't store up fat like that.
Gotcha.
So only the males have these big fat donkeys. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the random fact of the week. Pretty good fact.
Yeah.
Imagine reading that last night after having several bourbons. I was dying. I was like, I cannot wait to tell Gus this tomorrow. What do you think about this High West?
It's good, man. I don't. The problem is that I haven't had it enough to really tell you how it's any different from the other one.
Yeah.
The normal one. So it's good, though.
It is good. I like this cognac finish one. This is very good. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
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 You remember ska music?
Ska, yeah. They took Weezer and added trumpets.
It was, yeah. That was a weird time. Because remember, everybody thought that was going to be like, but it only lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
I can remember because there was like this church by where I grew up, and they had a ska band that used to always play there. I remember it was like the thing. Like everybody would go there after school, and yeah.
The weird thing with ska is growing up, most genres of music fit squarely with a certain type of like group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could never pin like where ska, like if you took all the cliques, the social groups at school, you had your jocks, your nerds, your the typical stuff, like
the dark black Jankos.
Yeah, right. And you could pick a genre of music and say, radio rock and rap are going. Those are the jocks, and then maybe your goth. That's your
For us,
your
it was
metal and everything.
pretty
Whatever.
preppy. Are the ska fans there?
Ska?
That
Okay.
I remember.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know.
I remember like jeans and hoodies, and like one guy had the GT3000, the car.
Mhm.
I think that's what it was. The Mitsubishi one. But
Yeah.
he had one of those, and
Yeah.
he had the Eagle version, whatever that was, like a laser or something. I'll put it up there. He had one of those, and I remember thinking like, that guy. That's who I want to be when I get to high school. I want to be driving that car, dating the cheerleader with the yeah, stupid.
How'd it work out for you?
Never dated a cheerleader. Did you?
Yeah,
That sounds terrible.
several.
Oh, got him.
It just coincidence.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Never did. I was more into the abused type.
They
if you know
are
what I mean.
exhausting.
I believe it. Yeah.
I like a project. I like to try and fix them up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I needed. I needed like Captain Save a Girl.
You should have said it.
Should have said it, but I didn't. Well, I figure if you're this far in, you're probably long-time listener. So yeah, I could say whatever. We could probably say anything we want an hour in.
I don't know, man. After the exposure this weekend,
You want to try it sometime?
no, maybe.
We did get a lot of exposure this weekend. Yeah. So,
Awkward silence. Silent reflection, folks. Take a minute.
yeah. I was just thinking about just the weekend. I was thinking about all the girls I saved. No,
Just save a lot of girls.
yeah, no.
Girls, I don't get the joke.
I wasn't nothing. I was just boomerang, circle back.
Oh,
yeah.
save it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Sunday it was the slowest of the 3 days, I think.
Yeah, but it was even still, it was pretty busy.
Yeah, it was busier than any market we've ever had.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Sunday was fun, and we had mimosas in the morning.
Yeah.
Then,
Got a little buzz going and
Yeah.
just slang some product.
yeah.
Made some money. And then as big of a shit show as getting set up was over the entire 12-hour day that was Thursday where they had it open to set up, the shit show of getting packed up and out of there in the 2 hours.
I didn't think it was that bad. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's a very small road to drive through, so you
Yeah.
can only let so many people in. So, excluding that, like sitting in line and waiting, and then having to drive the trailer all crazy, like through a jigsaw puzzle. Outside of that, I think it was fine. I don't have any complaints on. I mean, it was definitely a lot harder than going to the market, but that's just on us. This had a bunch of people involved. I think
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get out and in at the same time.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And then we had the debacle with my phone, which
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, so I'm waiting in line, then you jumped in the truck, and I guess that's when you put the phone on my center console.
Is that where it was? Because I
Yeah.
didn't remember where I put it. And
It was dark, so I didn't see it.
that's what I knew that's what had happened.
Because I don't use interior lights.
Yeah. So I hopped in his truck. We were getting in the gate, and then I hopped out to help back and try and get through tight spaces and move a tent, and we had to do a bunch of stuff. But once we got into position, it was go, trying to get everything loaded up into the trailer.
Loading up barrels and backdrop. And
They're
heavy
only
stuff.
letting certain people. Basically, it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Once they got a certain number of vehicles in there, because everyone has a U-Haul, a Ryder truck, a truck with a trailer, some
Yeah.
sort of van. So it was at a certain point, it was a 1-for-1 exchange, right? Somebody was done and they left. They let another person in. Well,
Yeah.
we were trying to get out of there because people were waiting for their turn. Matt looked out the back, out his window, and said, "You need anything from us or from me?" And I was like, "No, go ahead." They took off, and I started walking to my truck, and that's when I realized didn't have my phone, and then I knew exactly where it was. Well, I didn't have any way to.
I told you I was taking. I don't remember saying that because I knew that I wasn't going to unload tonight.
Well,
that Sunday night, so I knew I was going to do it because we were off Monday. So I knew that Monday I was going to spend unloading the trailer. But yeah, I intended on driving to the house the whole time. But I guess I told you that I was going to the storage unit at some point.
Initially, before we started, it was like earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what to do, and you were like, well, we just pack up and leave it and come back in the morning. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that. You know,
They said we could. But
but then you had said also if I pack up tonight, I'm gonna have to drive all. You talked about bringing it all the way to James Island to the rental, and maybe that was just an initial thought in your mind. And
You
were
did it
like,
again.
I don't have to do it.
You did it again.
Did what again?
John's Island.
You know what I mean? It's all the same.
No, you do it to mess with me.
It's all the same thing. It's down below 526.
It's all the same thing.
All the same
West
thing.
Ashley, John's Island, James Island. It's all the same thing.
All the same.
Yeah.
If I offended you,
You know, I've never been offended in my life.
I'm talking to people listening. If I offended you with
Who
that,
cares what they think?
get over it. Anyways, I drove from Brittlebank all the way to John's Island, where the storage place is,
Yeah.
hoping I was gonna, because I left not soon after. In my head, I was like, I'll get there about the time they're unhooking it from the. Got there, you weren't there. It's like shit. By the way, super proud of myself for finding it without a GPS because I don't go there that often.
Oh,
I
really?
can't remember the name
I
of the
didn't
road.
think about that.
Yeah. So then I drove the back way
Yeah.
down. What is that? The James Island connector, or whatever that road is in the back. I don't know what the names of these roads. That's not the connector. What's the road?
The King's Highway. I don't remember what it's called, but the scenic route.
Right. So I drove that way and then took a right by that golf course.
Nice.
And drove the back way by the county park without a GPS. Super proud of myself.
Nice.
Hoping.
That's Maybank Highway, and then you turn
Maybank
right.
Highway. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the scenic route.
The scenic route.
I can't remember what it's called. It's like.
But I did all that and then came and then popped out by the post office because I know that's a route you like to take. And I figure if he did happen to go drop off Andy at the house and then is going to come drop off the trailer, this might be the route he takes.
This is the route.
Maybe I'll pass you on the way and then I can flip a bitch and come chase you down. Didn't happen. In retrospect, I should have just thought to myself, his options are going straight home or going to unload it, then going home. All roads end at home. I should have just gone to the house.
Yeah.
But I was irritated and pissed off and.
Yeah, I told Andy as soon as because she was like, she brought your phone inside, and she's like, you left your phone in the truck. And I was like, no, it's in my pocket. And I looked at it, and I was like, shit. Oh, he's going to be pissed. So I texted Jessica, and I was like, just so you know, Gus left his phone, for some reason, I have Gus's phone.
Yeah.
I don't think I explained why. And I was like, he's going to be so mad. I was telling you, I was like, he's going to come in here and just kick the door down, just furious. Because I thought that maybe she had packed it up.
No. I knew it was my fault.
Well, once you said, once I saw you at the door, I realized then that you left it. I knew that you left it on the center console. So, because I remember my elbow touched it on the way home, and I thought it was my phone. I was like, that's weird. I put my phone there, but I was too tired because I never put my phone there. But I was just like, whatever, just leave it there. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, he's gonna be furious because I thought Andy just threw it in a box.
I was livid, but it had nothing to do with it. I was not angry at you or Andy or anyone. It was just my own stupidity.
You're stupid.
I am a dummy. But so that was how we closed out the weekend.
Yeah. So that was the recap, and we're gonna do. I think do we decide on a name? I think was it like I said, CV Spotlight, or something like that.
That's a good name.
You know, whatever. We'll start maybe release them on Wednesdays, Thursday. Thursdays.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Thursday's a good day.
Yeah, we'll do Thursdays then.
Yeah. So for a couple months, you guys will get or however we decide to spread them out. You'll get a twice a week special treat.
Yep. We might. A couple of them are shorter than others, so maybe we might just make those podcast episodes. But yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I don't really want to talk a lot before somebody,
No, we could also. I mean, they can be short. They're a highlight or a spotlight
Yeah.
interview. It doesn't have to be a super long episode.
Yeah.
So
some of them are 20 minutes, some are 30, one's 45. I mean, none of them are super long. They're just quick rundown. Tell us about who you are, get your stuff out there.
I think Ryan Kirby's and
the NDA one, I think.
The NDA one went a good ways. How long did the one with the Coast Guard? Because that one was pretty interesting too.
It was almost 3 clips, so it was probably about 45 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, that one also went a good way. So those may be like second after an intro, after almost a second full blown podcast. But yeah, we'll come up with a catchy title and throw it out there, and you guys will get it on Thursdays.
Thursday. The Wacky Wavy Inflatable Arm Flailing Tube Man. Wacky Wavy Inflatable. Come to Al Barrington's Wacky Wavy Inflatable Arm Flailing in Weekapaw. All right. Well, I'm ready to be done for the day and give away this bottle of Elmer T. Lee. My battery's dying. Sick. All right, let's go give this bottle away.
Adios.
Bye.
Drinking whiskey.